Show right here on 910 a.m. the Superstation, the Future Radio. I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. It is Monday, May 9th, 2022, and we are live. Calling numbers 313-778-7600, 313-778-7600 is the call-in number if you have a question or comment. All right, so we had a very busy, had a very good Sunday show. And I want to deal with some topics here, some stories one story that came out today. And then also, on Friday, when I was on Roland Martin Unfiltered, I actually guest hosted Roland Martin Unfiltered. So I'm going to share another segment from Roland Martin Unfiltered from Friday, May 6th, when I was guest hosting. So I did a Facebook post today, and a lot of the news outlets are carrying this story dealing with Anthony Anderson, actor Anthony Anderson, that probably best known for Blackish, now 8 seasons of Blackish on ABC. Well, Anthony Anderson this past weekend graduated from Howard University at the age of 51 years old. Graduated from Howard University with a Bachelor's of Arts degree in fine arts from the Chadwick Boseman College of Fine Arts. Okay. And 30 years ago, he had to drop out of school, drop out of college. He finally did it. He said it's never too late. So we're going to talk some about that. The first article I probably saw about this was from Entertainment Tonight Canada, ET Canada. And they have a brief segment on this also. So we're going to discuss this. And then also Taraji P. Henson received a honorary doctorate degree from Howard University as well. So she spoke at Howard's commencement. That's her alma mater. So we're going to let you hear a little bit of what she had to say. And you remember Taraji P. Henson and Anthony Anderson were both in the movie Hustle and Flow. All right, so we'll talk some about that. And then keeping with our theme dealing with college graduations. This is college graduation season. I saw this article from CNBC. College graduates are overestimating the salaries they'll start out at by $50,000, report finds. College now, I don't know where they're getting. I don't know where college graduates are getting these exorbitant starting salaries from. Where they're getting these estimates from. Or overestimating starting salaries. But it's a good report, a good article from CNBC.com that deals with this. Okay. As hiring demands continue to increase, the average starting salary for the class of 2022 is projected to be more than $50,000. However, current college students expect to earn twice that in their first job, according to one report. So for most of them, that is totally unrealistic. But we're going to talk about that as well. And when I was doing recruiting, when I was helping to working with a local community college and reaching out to high school students or getting people enrolled in college, there were a couple of websites that I used to help people estimate what starting salaries would be. Okay, so I'm not sure where people are getting this misinformation from, but we'll talk about this also. Now, there was a story from when I guest hosted Roland Martin Unfiltered on Friday. A lot of the stories that we covered, I was the one who picked those stories. One of those stories I picked is a topic that we've dealt with here before in the past couple of weeks, and is dealing with student loan debt. We talked about the public service student loan forgiveness program, and how there was an article from Forbes.com for March 1st, 2021. And let me see if we can pull up this article here from Forbes. It dealt with the public service student loan forgiveness program, and how 1 million additional, because of changes to the program, 1 million additional people could qualify for student loan debt forgiveness. Okay, so we talked about that here on this show. Well, there was a piece that came out from Forbes.com. Actually, first I saw the article from CNBC.com on Friday. Well, actually, May 4th, I should say. The article came out Wednesday, May 4th. Education Department forgives loans of more than 110,000 people in public service. Okay. Education Department forgives loans of more than 110,000 people in public service. All right. So this deals with what we've been talking about here on the show, and the public service workers student loan forgiveness program, and how changes to the program will open it up for up to 1 million more people to have their student loans forgiven. So 110,000 people just got their loans forgiven through this program. Now, this is on top of the over 700,000 people who have received student loan forgiveness under the Biden-Harris administration. Okay, and already prior to the 6.8 billion, a little more than 17 billion has already been forgiven. So we've been dealing with that here on this show, and I wanted to. A lot of people don't know about the student loan forgiveness that's taking place through the Department of Education. They're waiting on Biden to sign an executive order, okay? And they think they're going to get broad sweeping student loan forgiveness. That's not going to happen. And one of the reasons it's not going to happen is something else that I mentioned when I guest hosted on Friday, is the article that came out from the Wall Street Journal, picked up by BusinessInsider.com. And this deals with a former Obama lawyer says Biden likely does not have the legal standing to cancel student debt broadly. Okay, former Obama lawyer says Biden likely does not have the legal standing to cancel student debt broadly. And a lot of people point to Section 432 of the Higher Education Act in 1965 and saying, oh, Biden has these magical powers, things like this. But, you know, a legal analysis, and this is what Charlie Rose said in his analysis of this. Charlie Rose is was a top lawyer in the President Obama education department. So this is a good article from BusinessInsider.com. I encourage people to read, because I was listening to Reverend Al Sharpton's show today, right here on 910 AM Superstation WFDF. I was tempted to call in, but I'm already behind on work. It was a busy weekend. I'm already way behind. I didn't have time to call in. But somebody called in and said all Biden has to do is sign an executive order. First, the executive order has to be written. Okay. An executive order is not a sheet of paper. An executive, I'm somebody who was actually on a committee to write an executive order. So my understanding of executive orders may be different than the average person. It took us 13 months to write it for the city of Detroit. An executive order is not just you scribbling something down on a sheet of paper. There's different departments that you have to coordinate with. You have to also analyze what the law is, and you don't want to. The president executive orders can be overturned in court in the judicial branch of the federal government. And a lot of people don't seem like they really understand this. The executive order I was on the committee to write, it went through a number of different revisions. Okay, and it's not just the president. Just first of all, presidents don't write executive orders. It's a committee that writes an executive order. The president tells them what they want in it, but usually the president don't sit there writing an executive order. Okay, that's not how it works. So while and we're close to Biden taking some type of executive action on this, because as Jen Psaki said last week at a White House press briefing, he's going to announce what's going to take place by August 31st. Okay. So while people wait on that to happen, and he already said it's not going to be $50,000 worth of debt, it's going to be much less than that. At the same time, the Department of Education is discharging a lot of people's student loan debt. Okay. So I think a lot of our people don't know about this and are not really taking advantage of this. Okay, so this was an article from CNBC.com. Now there was also a and I'm going to share the segment with you from Roland Martin and the Filter where we discuss this also. Okay. So we'll deal with those topics here on today's show. On the African History Network show, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world, because right now it's correct wrong behavior. What you do for yourself, what you do to yourself, and what you allow other people to do to you and get away with is based upon what you think about yourself. What you think about yourself is based upon what you have been taught about yourself. What you've been taught about yourself is based upon everything you've read, heard, and seen about yourself. You listen to the African History Network show right here on 19 AM Superstation Future Radio. I'm Michael Imhotep. We'll be back in a few minutes. Stand by. Bathroom break in 4 minutes. Stand by. Stand by, everybody. Bathroom break in 4 minutes. Share this broadcast on your social media platforms. Invite your friends to tune in also. Where the hell is this article? Stand by. Bathroom break in 2 minutes. Bathroom break in 2 minutes. Stand by.
On the African History Network show, we deal with current events in history and politics, education, economic empowerment, entrepreneurship, relationships, love, sex, health issues, and much, much more. Unfortunately, many people confuse what racism is. Racism is a power structure. It was laws and policies that put us in this predicament. It's going to be laws and policies that take us out. So when you control the radius of a man or woman's thoughts, you can control the compass of his or her actions, because the mind can't do or teach what it doesn't know.
We have it all on 910 AM Superstation.
Welcome back to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM Superstation Future Radio. All right, calling numbers 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600 is the calling number if you have a question or comment. Okay, I want to go to this first story here, and this is dealing with it's a good story dealing with Anthony Anderson. We know Anthony Anderson from the TV show Blackish. Also, he was in Hustle and Flow. He's been on been in movies like Romeo Must Die. from back in the day with Jet Li. So there was a good story. I saw the clip on Good Morning America this morning, but Entertainment Tonight Canada has a good article here. Also, people.com as well. We posted this on our Facebook fan page, the African History Network. It got over 1,500 likes. I think it's close to 2,000 likes now and a lot of comments. Anthony Anderson graduates from Howard University at age 51. It's never too late. It's never too late. Here we see him in his cap and gown. So he graduated from Howard University. The star of Blackish is officially a college grad. In a post on Instagram, Anthony shared the exciting news that he has graduated from Howard University with a Bachelor's of Fine Arts degree from Howard University in Washington, D.C. He said, quote, to quote Biggie, "It was all a dream. Words can't begin to describe the roller coaster I'm on right now," Anthony Anderson wrote alongside a video and photos from his graduation ceremony. He said it's literally been 30 years in the making. It's literally been 30 years in the making. Okay, and we have some video here as well. Okay, so we have some video here also. Here's his actual here's his actual Instagram post. To quote Biggie, "It was all a dream. Words can't begin to describe the emotional roller coaster I'm on right now. It's literally been 30 years in the making. This spring, I was finally able to complete the work to graduate from Howard University with a Bachelor's of Fine Arts degree from the Chadwick Boseman College of Fine Arts." We know Chadwick Boseman went to Howard as well. He said, "Yesterday was a full circle moment. It's never too late. Things happen when they're supposed to happen. I'd like to thank Dr. Wayne Frederick, president of Howard University, Dean Felicia Rashad, we know from The Cosby Show, Felicia Rashad, Dean Denise Saunders Thomas, and Bless Long for helping to make this happen for me, It takes a village. Thank you to my son, Hot Boy Nato, for at Hot Boy Nato. That's his Instagram handle, looks like, for inspiring me to return to school to finish my degree after he was accepted to Howard University. This is just the beginning. HU." Okay, so he also has some photos here. We'll show you some of those in just a minute. I want to go to this clip here from this segment here from Entertainment Tonight Canada, ET Canada, where they discuss this. Let's go to this clip, please, Shakita. Clip number 1. Okay.
Advised for you. Anthony Anderson has officially graduated from Howard University. Yes, congrats to the 51-year-old who took over Instagram on the weekend to share the exciting news that he graduated with a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree, writing a part on Instagram. To quote Biggie, "It was all a dream. Words can't begin to describe the emotional roller coaster I'm on right now. It's literally been 30 years in the making. This is just the beginning." Yes, also in attendance at the graduation ceremony was Taraji Henson, who gave a stirring commencement speech at her alma mater. Yep, where she also received an honorary doctorate. By everyone. Alma mater.
Howard, I challenge you to look for the good in yourself, the joy in the world every day. Howard, I challenge you to look for the good in others, to offer grace to others because you know they are fighting a battle just like you. Howard, I challenge you to take care of yourself mentally and emotionally as well as physically because you look too good on the outside to not be doing the work on the inside. Thank you. Howard, I challenge you to keep the little child within you alive and thriving. Give them room and space to play. I challenge you to listen to that voice within yourself, the one that's separate from Instagram, Twitter, cable news, and the latest gossip and reality TV. The voice that's just yours. The voice that's there in your quiet moments when no one else is around. That's your thing. That's your discernment. That's your God voice. Train yourself to hear it. Listen to it. Will you do that for me, please?
All right. So that was part of Taraji P. Henson's commencement speech. And let me see something. They need to put up some of her pictures on of her commencement speech on Google when you Google it. Let's see here. Okay, so we have this piece here from, let's see, this is at Howard's website, because Anthony Anderson's, they have a lot more of Anthony Anderson's pictures on the internet than Taraji P. Henson. But anyway, let's look at this here. Howard University, this is at the dig.howard.edu. And we see Dr. Wayne Frederick, president of Howard University, and Taraji P. Henson here. Let's see if we can zoom in on this. Okay, we see her there in her gown, and she received an honorary doctorate degree. So congratulations to Taraji P. Henson as well. If we go back here and look at Anthony Anderson's Instagram page, so he has some pictures from his graduation. 51 years old. It's never too late. He had to drop out of school 30 years ago because of finances. But he was able to go ahead and complete his bachelor's degree. So here he is with Dr. Wayne Frederick. And let me see, let's zoom in on this here. Can we, okay, there we go. Let's adjust that. And here he is with Felicia Rashad, who's the dean of the school, School of Fine Arts. We all know Felicia Rashad, Claire Huxtable, okay. And not only am I a big Cosby Show fan, but also a different world. I think I love a different world a little bit more than the Cosby Show. Here's another picture of him also, Chad A. Bozeman College of Fine Arts. There's another picture of him, and another picture of him with Dr. Wayne Frederick. Okay, and here's a picture of Anthony Anderson and Taraji P. Henson. Okay, so congratulations to both of them. And yep, here's a shot of him here with the other graduates from Howard University. So this is the season. I've been looking on Facebook, and some of my Facebook friends have children graduating from college, and I have some friends who, getting master's degrees, PhDs, things like this. So this is the time of the year. We're in May going into June. So this is the time of the year where we're going to see these. Okay, here's another picture of the class of 2022 Howard University also. So congratulations to all of the graduates. Congratulations to all of the graduates. And, so most of the topics today, I may be able to squeeze in one more, a fourth one. Otherwise, we'll do it tomorrow. But all these topics have a college theme to them. And it deals with college and financing and potential earnings. All right. So if we look at this next story here, this deals with, there's an article from CNBC.com that deals with how the class of 2022, how they are overestimating what their starting salaries are going to be. They're overestimating them by about $50,000. Okay. College, if we look at this piece here, college graduates are overestimating the salaries they'll start. And let me see, let's do this right here. Okay. College graduates are overestimating the salaries they'll start out at by $50,000, report finds. This one here, this article right here from CNBC.com, April 29th, 2022. It was very interesting because I don't know how they could overestimate. I guess everybody thinks they graduate in the top 10% of their class or something like that. That's not true. So I'm not sure how they're overestimating. But if we look at this piece here, written by Jessica Dickler, does this apply to any of your children or nieces or nephews or godchildren, anything like this? They overestimate how much they're going to make as hiring demands continue to increase. Okay. The average starting salary for the class of 2022 is projected to be more than $50,000. Okay. However, current college students expect to earn twice that. Current college students expect to earn twice that, $103,880 in their first job, according to one report. Good luck with that. Okay. It's only going to be a handful of people who are able to do that. Newly minted graduates are in for a shock. Okay. Welcome to, now it's a different world than where you came from. This is, I mean, this, you about to go into the real world. All right. It's a different world than when you came, than where you came from. Although the job market and starting salaries for the class of 2022 look significantly better than the class of 2021, they may fall short of graduates' expectations. Employers plan to hire about 31% more new degree holders from this year's graduating class than they hired from the class of 2021. Things have opened back up because of COVID. More businesses were shut down in 2021. More people working remotely, things like this. Things are opening back up. Demand has increased. Okay, so companies have to hire more. And this is according to a report from the National Association of Colleges and Employers. We're going to continue this on the other side of the break. Listen to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM Superstation Future Radio. I'm Michael Imhotep. Back in a few minutes. Stand by. Back from break in 4 minutes. Share this broadcasting on social media platforms. Stand by. Stand by, everybody. Okay, who still needs to register for the online classes I teach on Saturdays and Sundays? Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Maafa. Understanding the transatlantic slave trade, what they didn't teach you in school. We have the information at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. We had a great class this past Saturday. As soon as you register, you can watch class number 1 and class number 2. And next class will be Saturday, May 15th, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Stand by. Back from break in 3 minutes. Back from break in 1 minute. Stand by. Back from break in 1 minute. Back from break in 1 minute.
Nine ten, the Superstation, the oldest radio station in town since 1922.
Welcome back to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM, the Superstation of Future Radio. Okay, be sure to register for the online history classes I teach on Saturdays and Sundays. We had a great class this past Saturday, class number 2 of Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Maafa, Understanding the Transatlantic Slave Trade, what they didn't teach you in school. We deal with thousands of years of history and what leads up to the transatlantic slave trade taking place. So we do the class live. All the sessions are archived and recorded. You can go back and watch it anytime. I'm going to post a link here. As soon as you register, you can watch class number 1 and 2. We have them archived. There's also bonus content that you can watch. And I do a PowerPoint presentation. We have book references, articles, video clips, all of that. So we have a ton of information in the class. And then on Sundays, the class I teach is from the Civil War to the Civil Rights Movement and Black Power, 1865 to 1968. Class number 1 was scheduled to start on Sunday 8th. When I scheduled that, I didn't realize it was Mother's Day. So what I did was a 1-hour intro to the class, and we'll have class number 1 actually starting up on that I actually start up Sunday, May 15th. Actually, Saturday is the 14th. Sunday, May 15th, class number 1 actually start up. So you can register for this class as well. And then you can watch the 1-hour intro that I did this past Sunday. And there's also bonus content there as well. Okay, I want to go back to this story here from CNBC. And because this is graduation season, college graduation season, this may help one of your college graduates in your family. College graduates are overestimating the salaries they'll start out with by $50,000. Okay, I don't know where they're getting these crazy estimates from, but they're way off. Current college students expect to earn twice that, about $103,880 in their first job, according to one report. And this report is from the National Association of Colleges and Employers. Now, the increased demand for workers is also driving starting salaries higher for some majors, the National Association of Colleges and Employers found. The average starting salary for this year's crop of graduates is expected to be more than $50,000 based on the most recent data. Yet current college students expect to earn twice that in their first job, according to a separate survey of college students pursuing a bachelor's degree by Real Estate Witch in March, okay, by the company Real Estate Witch in this study that they conducted in March. Now, undergraduate students across all majors and institutions overestimated their salaries by 88%, Real Estate Witch found. 10 years into their careers, students anticipate making more than $200,000, well over the average mid-career salary of $132,497. So I don't know where they're getting this information from to just totally overestimate starting salary and totally overestimate where they'll be in 10 years in their career. I'm not sure if the college recruiters oversold the value of a college degree, and I'm not devaluing the college degree at all, but I don't know if the school or the recruiters oversold the value of the degree, or after you go through like your first 2 years and then you go into your the school that you're majoring in, I don't know if somebody oversold it or what. In fact, salary projections for the class of 2022 are vary greatly depending on the area of concentration. Employers projected starting salaries would increase 5.4% for math and science majors and decrease 14.8% for humanities majors. Okay, do people still major in humanities? I guess. Okay, I guess so. Salary projections from 2022, percent change from a year ago. So they have a chart here. Computer sciences, average starting salary $75,900. That is a 5.2% change. Looks like a 5.2% increase, percentage change from a year ago. Engineering, average starting salary 73,000, 4.4% change from a year ago. Math and sciences, degrees in math and sciences, $66,800, 5.4% change. Social sciences, 61,000, 2.1% change. Business majors, 60,000, 3.1% change. Agricultural and natural sciences, $57,800, average starting salary, 5.4% change. Communications, starting salary, 55,000, which is a negative 4.7% change. So the starting salary for people with communications degrees on average, bachelor's degrees, dropped 4.7% from 2021. Humanities degrees, average starting salary $50,700, a 14.8% drop over 2021. Now, overall, computer science majors are likely to be the highest paid just out of college, earning $75,900 on average, followed by engineering graduates. Now, Mary Gata is a National Association College and Employers Director of Research and Policy, okay, and National Association of Colleges and Employers, yes. And she said students really want to understand the hiring demand and starting salaries within their major because they differ. Students really want to understand the hiring demand and starting salaries within their major because they differ. Okay, and she's definitely correct about that. When I was doing recruiting for when Governor Jennifer Granholm had her No Worker Left Behind program, I was doing business consulting for a local community college, and the company I was working for, we were recruiting people to go into the No Worker Left Behind program and enroll at a local community college. And some of the people we were targeting had just been took the early buyout from Chrysler and General Motors. Okay. Now, that underscores the importance. Mary Gata goes on to say that underscores the importance of career counseling and career services. Career counseling and career services. The idea is that pay transparency will bring about pay equity. Pay transparency will bring about pay equity, which is essentially equal for work of equal or comparable value. Okay, which is essentially equal for work of equal or comparable value, regardless of work of the worker's gender, race, or other demographic category. Informing students and workers can make a difference when we think about salary negotiations. It's one way to break down systemic barriers. It's one way to break down systemic barriers. Now, beyond highlighting the overwhelming burden of student loan debt, the pandemic has also shed light on the financial benefits of earning a degree. 7 in 10 seniors graduate with debt, owing about $30,000 per borrower. Yet a majority of graduates with student loans said their college education improved their career opportunities and earning potential. Studies show that college graduates will earn nearly $1 million more over the course of their careers compared to people with just a high school diploma. Okay, so check this out here from CNBC.com. College graduates are overestimating the salaries they'll start out at by $50,000, report finds. Now, there's a, let me see, I want to check out this website here. It was either salary.com Well, I think it's this one right here. Salary.com, get paid. Okay. This one right here. What is okay? So salary.com helps you to uh, estimate based upon your degree, based upon your profession. It helps you to estimate what your starting salary will look like, what you're worth. Okay, and it also breaks it down by geographical location. So if you have a computer science degree in New York, in the New York area, compared to Michigan, compared to Montana, things like this, what should I pay? The trusted data and intuitive software your organization needs to get pay right. But it you can use this for individuals, so you can get your salary estimate as well here. All right, so if you have somebody that's graduated from college or something like that, and they want to find out, okay, in a bioengineering degree, and if I move out to San Francisco, California, or if I move out to Silicon Valley and I have an engineering degree, what have you, what's starting salary like? All right, this breaks this down for you. Okay, and they have it for employees. Understand your worth and plan your next career move with easy to use tools. This is for employees. They have salary research, cost of living calculator, personal salary report, job listings, things like this. So this was something when I was talking to people enrolling in college. This was a tool I was encouraging them, as well as their parents. Like if they were just graduated from high school, this was something I was encouraging them to use. Then also the I think it's at the I think it's at the Department of Labor, the Labor Department. The Labor Department, they have a resource there that looks at something like 400 different careers, etc. And they'll tell you what the job outlook is for the next 10 to 15 years, hiring, etc. It'll let you know that as well. I think that's at the that's at the I think that's at the Department of Labor, which is BLS.gov, Bureau of Labor Statistics, Department of Labor, BLS.gov. Okay, look, we're up against a break. Listen to the African History Network show. I'm Michael Imhotep. We'll be back in a few minutes. Stand by, back from break in 4 minutes. All right, stand by, everybody. How's everybody doing? Share this broadcasting on social media platforms. Okay, you can support the African History Network, $ the AHN show through Cash App, $ the AHN show through Cash App, also through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN show. Let me see. That was BLS. Back from break in 3 minutes. Occupational handbook. That's what it is. Back from break in 2 minutes. Welcome back to the African History Network show right here on 910 a.m. the Superstation Future Radio. Okay, what I was looking for was the Occupational Outlook Handbook. So this is at bls.gov, Bureau of Labor Statistics website. We're going to clip number 3, Shakita, from Roland Martin Unfiltered. This is right here, bls.gov, Bureau of Labor Statistics. It's called the Occupational Outlook Handbook. Okay, so this is another tool that I recommended parents to use, and you can go through and it lists all these different types of occupations and industries, things like this. And one of the things it tells you is what the outlook as far as hiring looks like across the country for the next 10 to 15 years for a particular industry, for particular occupation. All right. And then it breaks down pay, things like this. But it also tells you what type of degree, what type of credentials, what type of education you need for each occupation also. Okay. So that's at bls.gov, Bureau of Labor Statistics, the Occupational Outlook Handbook. All right. I want to go to this next story here. This deals with the Biden-Harris administration for giving an additional $6.8 billion in student loan debt. This was through the Public Service Worker Program. Now, we've talked about this here on the show before, the changes to the Public Service Worker Program. There's a good article from Forbes.com that I saw, and we talked about this on Roland Martin Unfiltered on Friday when I guest hosted. U.S. forgives $6.8 billion in student loan debt, $6.8 billion in public service worker student loans. Okay, this is from May 4th, 2022, from Forbes.com, and I want to pull this piece up here. I want to go to this clip here from Roland Martin Unfiltered. Let's go to clip 3, please, Shakita.
Welcome back to Roland Martin Unfiltered. Right before the break, I was talking about the Biden-Harris administration is keeping its promise to relieve Americans from their student loan debt. So another 110,000 student loan borrowers have had $6.8 billion discharged. Now, this is from the changes made to the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program. There was an article from Forbes.com back in March 1st, 2022, that I talked about on the African History Network show. And it talked about how changes to the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program could allow an additional 1 million student loan borrowers to have their debt forgiven. So this $6.8 billion is in addition to the $17 billion that has already been discharged by the Biden-Harris administration as well. And it's about 800,000 people under the Biden-Harris administration that have had student loan debt discharged. So while people are waiting for Biden to wave a magic wand and discharge all student loan debt, he's not going to do that. He said that earlier this week. This is taking place right now, and people can take advantage of this. I want to go to my panel here because I think this is really important to talk about. I've been watching the Secretary Miguel Cardona, Secretary of Education, continually talk about student loan debt that's being discharged, while at the same time, a lot of people, especially a lot of African Americans I see on social media, are just waiting for student loan debt to be discharged. But a lot of us can take advantage of this right now. I want to go to Matt on this first. Matt, do you have any comments on this? And what in Texas, and you teach at a college as well, how do you think something like this will help African-American college students or people who have student loan debt?
This revolutionary new device.
Okay, yeah, skip over that. Okay,
I think this is a wonderful decision, particularly because I know a number of people like me who were prosecutors or in government service for a number of years who actually got denied. Before they released this, just the other day, I was having a conversation with a former colleague of mine who has 10 years in service and applied and got denied. So in my own life, I know that this will affect me, considering there were a number of years that I was a part of this program. I think this will incentivize people not only going to government service, but staying in government service. Because in a number of industries, including the practice of law and others, you know, people think of government service for a couple years and they go and then they try to go private sector so they can make significantly more money. And I think this will allow us, one, to keep people of good caliber and of good, acumen in their respective fields in the government, because they know it'll actually be forgiven. But beyond that, the bigger part is the boon that it'll give to the economy, and it'll give to particularly young families, young people who might otherwise be interested in buying a house but are dissuaded because they've got to make a gargantuan student loan payment every month. So I think this is a great thing. I think it's a great thing, particularly for graduates of like HBCUs and other people who are saddled by this debt, but who have been working in service of the government. I think it's a really, really good thing. And I also think that, it's a long time coming. I'm glad that they're keeping their promise on it. But if you look at the conversations that are being had about student loan forgiveness, there's a pretty clear demarcation with generations. I feel like younger people understand it. They feel almost like they were sold a bill of goods about getting an education and how to finance it. So they're behind student loan forgiveness. And I think that will continue to improve and permeate other generations once it's seen, the economic benefit that comes from it. So I think it's a very positive thing, and I'm glad to see them doing it.
All right, excellent. I'm coming to you here in just a second, Kelly. If we look at this article here from Bloomberg.com, U.S. forgives $6.8 billion in public service worker student loans. It says the relief, which the Department of Education says will average about $60,000 per borrower, is being given after President Joe Biden made changes to the program in October 2021, under which nonprofit and government employees can have their federal student loan debt forgiven after 10 years or 120 payments. We know African-American women disproportionately carry more student loan debt than graduated from undergraduate school than white students as well. What type of impact do you think this will have, Kelly? And do you think this will impact people that you know personally?
That's a tricky question, only because I know a lot of people who are both with just the bachelor's degree, but also those with bachelor's and postgraduate degrees. So for those of my colleagues and associates and friends who have, who stopped their education process, at least formal education process, with just a bachelor's degree, this will be huge for them because, like you said, the average amount of debt for someone with a bachelor's is around $60K.
Okay, those watching on Facebook and YouTube, keep watching. We're out of time here on 910 AM Superstation WFDF. We're going to keep broadcasting on my social media platforms, on my own network, the African History Network on Facebook, and Michael Imhotep on YouTube. We'll be back tomorrow. Also, if you like this type of information, you can support the African History Network, $TheAHNShow through Cash App and through PayPal, paypal.me/TheAHNShow. Remember, right now it's correct. Wrong behavior is not over till we win. Wakanda forever. And we'll talk to you tomorrow. Peace. All right, stand by, everybody. Stand by. Okay. So if you like this type of information, also you can support us at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. We have the information for PayPal and Cash App there. I'm going to pull this up here. This is our official Cash App account, $TheAHNShow, SHOW. And we also have the PayPal button here also. When you go to our Cash App account, it says Michael and shows my picture there. Official tag is $TheAHNShow, SHOW. These other ones here are fake African History Network Cash App accounts. Okay, that's not us. All right. let's continue. Let me go back to this clip here. This is from Roland Martin Unfiltered from Friday, May 6th. And I was sitting there for Roland as a guest host. And Kelly Bethia, who's an attorney, was talking. Let's go back to this clip here.
Colleagues and associates and friends who have, who stop their education process, at least formal education process, with just the bachelor's degree, this will be huge for them because, like you said, the average amount of debt for someone with a bachelor's is around $60K. So that would help them a great deal. But on the other end of this, like myself and plenty of people who are on the postgraduate side of things, we're looking at six-figure debt that cannot be paid off in 10 years per se. Or rather, we can't afford to take the government job to do the 120 payments to pay it off in 10 years. So that is the issue that a lot of people have. Say again?
I say a lot of times you have to take a pay cut to take a government job. Right.
Exactly. So and that's a large reason why I haven't gone into public service in that vein, because I literally can't afford to, even though that's where my heart has been for a long time. I literally cannot afford to do it. So for people in my bracket, when it comes to debt, I actually know people who have way more debt than I do. I know someone who has $500,000 in debt after going to undergrad, master's, PhD or JD, what have you. The 60K is like the interest rate. You know what I'm saying? That's the interest payment. So it's a tricky question. It is helpful for many, but not for all. So until we get to the all part of it, which is, people like me, people like the people I just described, it's still going to be a huge issue when you have debt that costs more than your house.
Wow. CNBC also has a story about this as well from May 4th, 2022. Education Department forgives loans of more than 110,000 people in public service. Dr. Jason Nichols, so you teach at a university as well. I know you know a lot of people who take out student loans, things like this. What impact do you think this will have? And have you talk to any people maybe who graduated from college who've had their student debt forgiven either through this program or another one from the Department of Education?
So I haven't actually directly spoken to anyone who has said to me that they've had their loans forgiven through these programs. I know a lot of people were looking for President Biden to make this a sweeping legislation that just wiped away all student debt. He has made it clear that he's not going to do that. He made that clear actually even during the campaign that he wasn't going to do that. And I will say that I think it does help. I think $60,000 is a down payment on a house in a lot of places in this country. So I think it is an important and a significant amount of money. 60K is 60K. Even for people who are saddled with huge amounts of debt, $60,000 versus nothing, which is what you've gotten for the last 10 years. I think it is significant. But as Kelly said, there are people out there who are taken advantage of, who are just trying to get an education to better their prospects to have a family, and they've had to postpone all of that because of the way this debt system that we have works. And, I think there are things that we need to reform about education. I think public college, and I work at one, I think public universities should be free, tuition free. You pay for the other services, but certainly tuition should be free, and we should find other ways. Now, I know, people will complain about taxes, but education betters society. A more educated society is a stronger and better society. And so I think that should be a benefit that all citizens have. And you can't say that we can't do it, because if you go to other countries in Europe and the Middle East, some places they actually pay you to be a student. They give you a stipend to study because they realize the value for society. So I think this goes into other pieces of legislation that could actually help people in the future so they won't be saddled with debt.
Okay, thank you. Now, also, so people know, the article from Bloomberg.com goes on to say the White House has been looking into whether President Joe Biden has the legal authority to forgive student loan debt through executive action. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki, we know she's leaving. We know Karine Jean-Pierre is going to be the new White House Press Secretary. But Jen Psaki said on Tuesday that the president was considering limiting his student loan forgiveness program to Americans earning less than $125,000. Forgiveness of $10,000 per borrower would clear loans for 15 million borrowers. And also, I encourage people to read the article from BusinessInsider.com that came out yesterday. Former Obama lawyer says Biden likely does not have the legal standing to cancel student debt broadly. This was picked up from the Wall Street Journal, so check that out as well.
All right, folks, back to that road mark unfiltered video in just one moment. Folks, Black
Okay, we got to turn this back on. All right. Okay, so you've got this piece here. Okay, so that was from Roland Martin the Filter. Check that out from Friday, May 6, 2022. That's on Roland's YouTube channel and Facebook channel. Okay. Now, if we look at this article here, you have this one here from Forbes.com. Thousands of jobs qualify for expanded student loan forgiveness program. Okay. Now, you have some people who are uninformed and say, oh, this is just white people getting their student loans discharged. No, African Americans getting their student loans discharged also, and Latinos as well. It's not just white people. Now, for some of these, you need to apply and need to know they exist. But no, we're getting ours discharged also. Now, more of us should get a discharge if we actually read, if we actually did some research. And one of the groups that are being discharged, even before this program here, even before the student loan forgiveness program for public service workers, are people who are victims of predatory colleges, because predatory colleges disproportionately target African Americans and Latinos. So this 6.8 billion that was just discharged for 113,000 borrowers is in addition to the 17 billion that was already discharged for a little more than 700,000 borrowers under the Biden-Harris administration. All this is going on right now, and most of our people are clueless of this. I was listening to Reverend Al Sharpton's show today, and somebody called in. I was tempted to call in, but I ain't had time to wait on hold. Somebody called in and was talking about all Biden has to do is sign an executive order and all this. First, like I said, first the executive order has to be written, and it takes time to do that. I was on the committee to write an executive order for the city of Detroit. It took us 13 months to do that. And that's just dealing with the city, because it went through a number of revisions in the different departments, different outside entities like the unions, the trade unions that were involved in this executive order that we were writing. So the executive orders, people just think, oh, the president, I guess they think a president writes an executive order. The presidents don't write executive orders. Usually that's a committee that writes the executive order. The president will tell them what they want in it. Okay. And then after it's written, they review it with them, and he'll sign the executive order. This stuff does not happen overnight. And the loan forgiveness is going to be targeted when Biden does this. He's going to make an announcement by August 31st about how much student loan forgiveness he's going to give, okay, through executive order. Is going to be targeted. It's not just going to be broad across the board. And in a minute here, I'm going to go to the piece from the Wall Street Journal that cites Charlie Rose, who's a former top lawyer in the former President Barack Obama's education department, who did an analysis of Biden's authority to discharge student loan debt through an executive order. And he said that he's not confident in the legality of broad student loan forgiveness. According to a legal analysis that the Wall Street Journal obtained, Charlie Rose said canceling student debt for every borrower without gearing the relief toward each borrower's individual needs could be overruled in court and leave the administration at risk of being sued by student loan companies. The people who are talking about, people who are saying all he has to do is sign the executive order, are not talking about the student loan forgiveness being overturned in court, and they're not talking about student loan companies suing the Biden administration, suing the federal government. That doesn't even enter into the equation. That's why you have to look at these issues holistically, as opposed to just looking at the part that maybe benefits you. You have to look at it holistically and look at different scenarios. What happens when it gets overturned in court? This is why they want to make sure they're on strong legal footing to greatly reduce the chance of an executive order being overturned in court regarding student loan forgiveness. Okay, now, if we go back to this one right here. Okay, so new changes to student loan forgiveness program for public service workers. And it talks about, let's see, go through here, late October. So it goes through, looks at different categories here. Student loan forgiveness for nonprofit workers, student loan forgiveness for public servants, student loan forgiveness for religious workers. Okay. How to get more information. The Education Department has revamped its online PSLF help tool, which allows borrowers to get a preliminary assessment as to whether their employment may qualify for PSLF. This change here is going to open it up to an additional potentially 1 million people getting their student loan debt discharged. Okay, when you wait on an announcement of discharging of debt for millions of people, that's coming by August 31st. Jen Psaki at the White House press briefing last week, one of them, she said Biden to make an announcement by August 31st. So you have this article here, thousands of jobs qualify for expanded student loan forgiveness. And you also have this one right here from Forbes.com. Biden's student loan forgiveness now tops 16 billion after newest wave of approvals. Okay, now this is from February 21st, 2022. Now it's now over 17 billion, even before the 6.8 billion that was just forgiven for 113,000. Okay, it prior to, it's about 17 billion for a little more than 700,000 student loan borrowers. The Biden administration has now approved at least $16 billion in student loan forgiveness, according to the Department of Education's following last week's announcement of newly approved eligible borrowers. Biden's targeted student loan forgiveness. The administration has approved $7.8 billion in federal student loan cancellation for more than 400,000 disabled borrowers under the Total and Permanent Disability Discharge Program. Okay, you know anybody with SSI? You know anybody on disability? Through its TPD discharge initiatives, the Education Department is providing automatic discharges for certain borrowers who are receiving Social Security disability benefits. Officials also reversed the reinstatements of thousands of previously discharged federal student loans under the TPD discharge program due to the failure of some borrowers to return paperwork related to post-discharge income monitoring, which had been a hallmark of the program for years. The department has now suspended post-discharge TPD income monitoring indefinitely while it works on overhauling the underlying regulations. Okay, so the Biden administration has also provided $5 billion in student loan forgiveness for 70,000 borrowers through fixes to the Public Service Loan Forgiveness PSLF program called the Limited PSLF Waiver. The fix temporarily allows borrowers to get credit for payments made on non-qualifying loans or under ineligible repayment plans. Okay, so read the rest of this here. And it goes through different categories that will qualify for student loan forgiveness. Okay. Uncertainty continues for widespread student forgiveness, etc. Now, if we look at the piece here from Bloomberg that I mentioned when I was guest hosting the show, this one right here, we have it. Where's the article from Bloomberg? This one. U.S. forgives $6.8 billion in public service worker student loans. Let's see. If we look at this one from Yahoo News, they picked it up from Bloomberg. Let me pull this up here. Hold on, just had it up. Where is that? The U.S. forgives 6.8 billion. Okay, right here. Berg. Okay, this one right here, from Yahoo News and picked up by Bloomberg. Okay, this is from Wednesday, May 4th, 2022. And it says, okay, the relief which the Department of Education says will average about $60,000 per borrower is being given after President Joe Biden made changes to the program in October, under which nonprofit and government employees can have their student loan debt forgiven after 10 years or 120 payments. While the debt forgiveness will come as a relief for those who qualify, the number represents only 0.26% of the 43.4 million Americans burdened by federal student loan debt. Okay, Biden has come under pressure in recent weeks. Now, this one right here, the White House has been looking into whether Biden has the legal authority to forgive student loan debt through executive action. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said Tuesday, last week Tuesday, which was May 3rd, she said the president was considering limiting his student loan forgiveness program to Americans earning less than $125,000 a year. Forgiveness of $10,000 per borrower would clear loans for 15 million borrowers. Okay, now at the same time, very few Republicans support student loan forgiveness. Now that's the other thing. That's something that very few people talk about. Okay, very few Republicans support student loan forgiveness. And there was an article from that we talked about last week that dealt with this. You had 5 Republicans who signed on in the Senate, who are sponsoring a bill to block Biden from doing the student loan forgiveness. And let me see if I can find that one here. That is, I think I have that bookmarked in I think I had that bookmarked in Facebook. College graduates overestimating. Just a second, let me find this one. I forgot which publication it was. I think who has one? It's I think it's salon.com that has one of those articles, because I pulled it up. I think I have it here in Firefox. Okay, let's see. It's okay, you got one from Forbes.com. This one here, salon.com, April 30th, 2022. We can look at this one here for the sake of time. Republicans rush to block Biden from forgiving student debt backfires. Republicans rush to block Biden from forgiving student debt backfires. The GOP attack is a tacit acknowledgement that Biden appears to have the power to finally make good on his promise. Now, this is from April 30th, 2022. Over the last 2 years, Republicans argued that President Biden, who made a campaign promise to cancel student debt, does not have the legal authority to fulfill the pledge, insisting that the tens of millions of Americans currently crushed by student loans should be forced to pay them down. But now, amid new reports that Biden is considering a partial jubilee or student loan forgiveness, Republicans are backing a bill that would prevent President Biden from pulling the trigger, a tacit acknowledgement Biden appears to have the power to finally make good on his promise. On Wednesday, Senate Republicans introduced the Stop Reckless Student Loans Action Act. 5 Senate Republicans last Wednesday, which was May 4th, introduced a bill that would end President Biden's ability to continue suspending debt payments for debt holders of a certain income and prohibit the president from canceling the debt altogether in the case of a national emergency. The bill sponsors Senator John Thune, Republican of South Dakota, Senator Richard Burr, Republican of North Carolina, Senator Mike Braun, Republican, Indiana, Senator Bill Cassidy, Republican of Louisiana. Louisiana is one of the poorest states in the country. And Senator Roger Marshall, Republican of Kansas, have attempted to frame the measure as a bulwark for American taxpayers. Quote, as Americans continue to return to the workforce more than 2 years since the pandemic began, it is time for borrowers to resume repayment of student loan obligations, Senator John Thune said in a statement. Quote, taxpayers and working families should not be responsible for continuing to bear the costs associated with this suspension of repayment. This common sense legislation would protect taxpayers and prevent President Biden from suspending federal student loan payments in perpetuity, end quote. Okay. Let's see. Republicans come 6 weeks after Biden extended. Okay. So you have Republicans who are against the student loan forgiveness as Biden is going to do, and it's more than these 5 who are against it also. Okay, so read the rest of this article here. Republicans rush to block Biden from forgiving student debt backfires. This is from Sun.com. Now, lastly, look at the This is an article here that I mentioned when I was guest hosting also. This is from businessinsider.com. It was picked up by, it was from the Wall Street Journal. It was picked up by businessinsider.com. And this is a former Obama lawyer says Biden likely does not have the legal standing to cancel student debt broadly. Does not likely have the legal standing to cancel student debt broadly. Pull this one up here. Okay, this is from businessinsider.com. Okay, this article right here. Former Obama lawyer says Biden likely does not have the legal standing to cancel student debt broadly. This is originally from the Wall Street Journal. This is from May 5th, 2022. The Wall Street Journal obtained a legal analysis from a former Obama lawyer who was Charlie Rose, was a top lawyer in Obama's Department of Education. The Wall Street Journal obtained a legal analysis from a former Obama lawyer on student debt relief. The analysis said mass student loan forgiveness has the potential to be overruled in court. The debate on broad loan forgiveness within the Higher Education Act has remained ongoing, okay? And that is dealing with Section 432 of the Higher Education Act of 1965. Okay, now if we look here at this article here on Wednesday, May 4th, a Wall Street Journal exclusive found that Charlie Rose, a top lawyer in the former President Barack Obama's education department, is not confident in the legality of broad student loan forgiveness. Because I hear people talking about all Biden has to do is just sign an executive order, things like this. People just think he waves a magic wand. The real world doesn't work like that. That's not how executive orders work. Okay. It takes research, legal analysis, and you have to coordinate with different departments, okay, to actually come up with a viable executive order that does not overstep the power of the president, because that can get overturned in court. That can get reversed in court. And then you're back to the drawing board. According to a legal analysis the Wall Street Journal obtained, Charlie Rose said canceling student debt for every borrower without gearing relief toward each borrower's individual needs could be overruled in court and leave the administration at risk of being sued by student loan companies. Leave the administration at risk of being sued by student loan companies. He said, quote, if the issue is litigated, the more persuasive analysis tend to support the conclusion that the executive branch of the federal government, the presidency, the White House, the executive branch likely does not have the unilateral authority to engage in mass student debt cancellation. Okay. The executive branch likely does not have the unilateral authority to engage in mass student debt cancellation. Now, the Wall Street Journal said that Charlie Rose confirmed to the Wall Street Journal the analysis was intended for a private client, not for public release. Now, the legal debate surrounding broad student loan forgiveness remains ongoing. Last April, which would be April 2022, Biden, well, actually April 2021, Biden asked the Education Department to prepare a memo examining his legal authority to cancel student debt broadly. While the memo's findings have yet to be publicly released, the Debt Collective, the nation's first debtors union, obtained the redacted memo via the Freedom of Information Act in October of 2021, revealing that Biden is aware of what type of legality he has to act on student debt, but is not making it publicly known, which is probably why he's going to make it targeted, and it would be the relief is being considered for those who are making under $125,000 a year, because he does not have the legal authority just to do mass student loan forgiveness that's not targeted. Okay. And this goes back to what Jen Psaki said, White House press secretary, last week Tuesday. She told reporters the relief that Biden is considering is for those making under $125,000 a year. Now, while Democrats have argued Biden has the authority under the Higher Education Act of 1965, that would be Section 432, to forgive debt using executive action, many Republican lawmakers have said that authority does not exist. 5 Republican lawmakers, as we just dealt with from the article from Salon.com, recently introduced a bill to resume student loan payments and block Biden from canceling student debt as part of pandemic relief. This is once again an example of how elections have consequences. Okay, so when I hear people talking about not voting, that's political suicide. The Republicans are trying to reverse all this stuff, shut all of this down, as well as take us back to 1890 at the Mississippi State Convention, where they passed poll taxes and literacy tests to suppress the African-American vote. Now, legal experts at Harvard Law School Legal Services Center prepared an analysis for Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren in 2020 that found that her proposal to cancel $50,000 in student debt for every federal borrower, quote, calls for a lawful and permissible use of the authority Congress has conferred on the Secretary of Education, which is anticipated and allowed for in the budgetary and accounting treatment of federal student loan programs. Okay, the Department of Education discharging debt is different than Biden doing an executive order, because of the power Congress gave the Secretary of Education and the Department of Education. That's different than Biden just doing an executive order, just broadly discharging student loan debt. Okay, read the rest of this piece here from businessinsider.com, picked up from the Wall Street Journal. Former Obama lawyer says Biden likely does not have the legal standing to cancel student debt broadly. This is why it's important to understand like law, policies, things like this, because some of the stuff I hear people calling in the radio shows with is just ridiculous. Just a bunch of simple Simon ass nonsense. I don't know where they get this nonsense from. Okay, give us a thumbs up, a heart, a like on this broadcast. If you like this, give us a thumbs up, heart, like, stars. Also, you can support the African History Network, $ the AHN Show through Cash App, $ the AHN Show through Cash App. Also through PayPal, paypal.me / the AHN Show, paypal.me / the AHN Show. You can register for the online classes that I teach on Saturdays and Sundays at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. And we have the new documentary, Heavy is the Crown, from director Amadeus Christ, is available right now at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. It features Professor James Small, Professor Kabahai Watha Kamene. You just heard them the past 2 or 3 weeks here on the African History Network show. And it also features Tony Browder. and it deals with the African origins of the major religions. Okay, the African origins of the major religions. It's from the Out of Darkness series, Heavy is the Crown. And you can also register for the online history classes I teach on Saturdays and Sundays. We have a new section that just started up of ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Maafa, understanding the transatlantic slave trade, what they didn't teach you in school. Class number 3 is Saturday. Class number 3 is Saturday, May 14th. And I'm going to post the information here. So as soon as you register, you can watch the class this past weekend. We have we do the sessions live. All the sessions are archived and recorded. You can go back and watch it anytime. Okay. All right, look, we have to get out of here. Remember, at the African History Network, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world, because right now it's correct wrong behavior. It's not over till we win. Wakanda forever, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.